Hi everybody, welcome to Muscle Conditioning. This is a 60-minute workout. My name is Caroline. We're going to get started with our warm-up. Let's get that music going. We're going to start by taking some small arm circles forward. Get bigger with each rotation. The goal here is to open up our shoulders. Hit some nice big rotations forward. And then let's start to take it back. Small circles to start, getting bigger with each rotation. And hit some big circles backwards, and then start to swing those arms front to back. You're opening up your chest, alternating the arm that comes on top each time you come forward. Squeeze your shoulder blades behind your back when your hands go behind your chest. And let's switch it up. We're going to take it to a high knee march. So you want to bring your knees up as high as you can, close to your chest, standing up nice and tall. Feeling a crunch through your core, starting to wake up the glutes. And we're going to add an upper body twist to this. So you're going to cactus your arms to the side, keeping your elbows wide and trying to bring them across your body to the opposite knee. We're going to get some light cardio next. Let's take it to jumping jacks. So with jumping jacks, if the impact is too much for you to hop out both feet at the same time, just step out the right foot, then the left foot, while bringing your arms up and down over your head. So taking the level of jumping jack, that's going to work for you today. Keeping that up, just spiking the heart rate a little bit. This is the only cardio you're going to have in this class. Just pushing here. And now bring your feet to squat distance. So just outside your hips, toes pointing at 11 and 1 and sitting deep into a squat. So our goal is to keep our chest up, shoulders back. You want to get your butt in line with your knees at the base of this movement. Breathing deeply here, and now let's pulse it low. So sitting your butt down, your hips back, just tiny little pulses in the bottom of the range. Screwing your feet into the floor, keeping that upper body lifted, and now hold. Just hold the squat low. We're embracing that burn in our quads here. And stand up. Go back to single squats. So knees are tracking out over toes. You really want to focus on pushing the knees outward. You don't want the knees to cave in. And now pulse it low. Pulse, pulse. And now hold it low. Just hold. We're going to bring that cardio back. Jumping jacks are coming up right here. Let's take these jacks to the end of this warm-up. Remember your option. You can always step one foot to the side at a time for a modified jumping jack. Keeping that intensity up here. We're getting our body ready for the workout. Just a few more seconds. And rest. Grabbing some water. So our format for today, our first few circuits are going to be our typical style, 4 moves, 30 seconds per move. All you need is 1 set of dumbbells. Try to make them heavy. If you have the option to drop down weight, that's great. I'm going to use a set of 10-pound dumbbells. So just 2 dumbbells and a mat for your workout today. I'm going to demo all 4 moves for you to start. So picking up your dumbbells, your first movement is called a dumbbell swing. You want to set your feet wide, toes are pointing out towards the corners of the room. You're swinging the dumbbells between your legs, getting a bend in the knees as you take them back, and then thrust your hips forward as those weights come up to shoulder height. You also have the option to just use 1 dumbbell for these dumbbell swings. And I really want you to think about squeezing your glutes and thrusting your hips forward at the top of the move. Your second movement is a plie squat with heel turn. So your feet are set wide, dumbbells are on the shoulders. You're going to turn on your heels, feet to the side, feet front. Your third movement is a get low curtsy lunge. You stay low in a squat and then take a curtsy lunge to the side. When you're taking that mini squat in between, try not to stand up all the way. Keep the bend in your knees. And your fourth movement is a split lunge with a kickback. We're going to start with the right leg behind on the first round. So as it's split lunge, kickback, split lunge, kickback. Making sure that front knee is not going past the front toe and squeeze your glute on the kickback. We're going to get that timer set up, 30 seconds per movement. Back-to-back moves for round 1. Getting ready for those dumbbell swings. Right here, 30 seconds on the clock for your dumbbell swings. So remember, you're trying to keep your chest up, keep your shoulders back, swing those weights up to shoulder height, straight arms. You want to thrust the hips forward, squeeze the glutes to get the momentum from the lower body into the weights as you swing up the dumbbells. You have 8 more seconds here before we take it to the next move. Dumbbells will go to the shoulders for plie squat heel turn. 3, 2, 1. Dumbbells to the shoulders, wide feet. Sink into this. Turning on the heels, feet to the side, feet front. Notice that my knees are never fully extending. So you want to try to keep a micro bend in the knees as you pulse through this movement. Stay as low as you can and pulse. Always have the option here to drop to one weight or no weight. You've got 5 more seconds before our get low curtsy lunge. 3, 2, 1. Weights stay on the shoulders, stay low. Curtsy lunge, come center. Curtsy lunge, come center. Keeping a micro bend in the knees as you come to the center before you switch sides. Your goal is to keep your hips square to the front and get that back knee low on the curtsy lunge. It's a diagonal behind your body, but you're still making sure your torso is square to the front. 5 more seconds, then lunge kickback. 3, 2, 1. Split lunge kickback, right leg is behind you. Split lunge, then kick the leg behind. So you're almost bouncing through this movement here, feeling a squeeze through the glutes. And you want to try to keep a flat back. It's just a slight hinge forward with the chest as you go into that kickback. And then you come down into the lunge, getting that back knee low. You've got 8 seconds here and then a recovery before round 2. Pushing through for 3, 2, 1, and rest. Take 30 seconds of rest before round 2. Hydrate, grab some water. Shaking out whatever you need to here. So remember your option as we go into round 2. Those dumbbell swings can be 2 dumbbells or 1 dumbbell. We've got 10 seconds before we start. Just catch your breath here. We're going in 5. Set the feet wide for dumbbell swings. 3, 2, 1. Swinging those dumbbells up to shoulder height. So it's a mini squat, but this move really is more for the glutes and the hamstrings. So as those shoulders, as the weights swing up to shoulder height, you want to feel the engagement through the back of your legs. As you squeeze your glutes, your hamstrings also squeeze. 5 more seconds, and then our plie squat heel turns in 3, 2, 1. Weights to the shoulders, wide feet, sink low. Turning on the heels, so just the toes coming up off the ground. You're screwing the heels into the floor as you pulse through this movement. So feet side, feet front. Bracing your abs here to keep the upper body lifted. Remember, at any point you can drop to one weight or no weight with these movements. You've got 5 seconds and then a get low curtsy lunge. 3, 2, 1, and switch. So sink low here. Curtsy lunge, stay low center. Curtsy lunge. Micro bend in the knee as you switch between sides. So checking out that back knee. Can you get it to kiss the floor before you come back up? We're feeling the outside of our glutes firing up here. Outside of the thigh. We just have 1 more move to go in this circuit. 3 seconds here, then lunge kickback. And let's switch left leg behind you. Split lunge into that kickback. And we really want to fight for balance and stability here. You're bouncing through the lunge and then lifting the leg behind you. Thinking about pointing that back toe. Squeeze the glute and lift. Keep as flat a back as possible. You are almost done. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and rest. That is our lower body circuit. Shake it out, breathe. I'm going to demo all 4 moves for our upper body circuit before we start. Make sure you're hydrating here. Same time structure for the upper body circuit. 30 seconds, 4 moves back to back. We have 2 rounds. Moving into that upper body. So your first movement is a bent arm raise and a J curl with your heavy weights, finding 90 degrees at your elbows, soft bend in the knees. You're going to take a bent arm raise to the side and then a J curl behind the head. Flying the elbows up to shoulder height and then bringing those elbows close to the head and the ears behind. Option to put one foot behind you. From the side, it looks like this. So we're trying to keep that 90-degree bend at the elbows in both movements. Your second move is an Arnold press. Palms will face the front to start. It's a bicep curl. You flip the wrist to take it into a shoulder press. So bicep curl, flip the wrist, press into the shoulders. So the reason we need to flip the wrist is to make sure our hands are facing front or our palms are facing front throughout. Your next move is a lawnmower row, hinge at the waist. Taking this as fast as possible, 1 row at a time. Keeping a flat back, keeping the elbow close to the body, lawnmower rows. Make sure you've got that flat back, abs are braced. And your final movement is a serve the platter complex. Again, 90 degrees at the elbows. Right, left, and together. Right, left, and together. That's your serve the platter complex. We're going to get that timer going. Grabbing those dumbbells, 30 seconds, bent arm raise, J curl, and begin. So you really want to fight for a tight core here, finding lots of stability through the torso. That J curl is particularly tough on your midsection, so we really need to brace the core and find some stability in the lower body, and that might mean putting 1 foot behind you. You've got less than 10 seconds, and then we take it into an Arnold press. In 3, 2, 1, feet together. It's that bicep curl, flip the wrist into that shoulder press. Bicep curl, flip the wrist, shoulder press. Palms always facing forward. So finding some fluidity between these movements. Nice smooth transitions between. Getting into the biceps and the shoulders all in one move. Trying not to sway the body. We go to lawnmower rows in 3, 2, 1. Hinging at the waist, lawnmower rows here. So remember, you can take this fast or slow. Faster will mean a little more cardio output, but you might want to take it slower to start to make sure you're hitting your form. So flat back, the more you hinge from the waist, the more you're going to feel this in the backs of your arms and your biceps. 1 arm at a time. Breathe. You have 5 more seconds and then serve the platter complex. 3, 2, 1. Let's switch it up. 90 degrees at the elbows. Serve the left, serve the right, and then both together. You're extending the arms away from the body, getting those weights out at about shoulder height. Fight for this. I know this is where it gets tough. This is your 4th move and recovery is coming. Make sure you've got a soft bend in the knees. We're not locking out those legs. We're keeping a tight core. Come on, you've got 5 more seconds. Breathe through this. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Drop those weights. 30 seconds all for you. Let's hydrate. Shaking out the hands. We got 15 seconds before our next round. Taking a little torso twist here if you need it. Getting set up for round 2, grabbing those dumbbells. Bent arm raise to J curl right here. You got 30 seconds on the clock. All right, so right here in that J curl, really trying to get your biceps close to your ears as you bring the weights behind your head. Keeping the 90 degrees at the elbows, that's the important part here. We want to keep the biceps engaged the whole time. You got an Arnold press coming up. 3, 2, 1, switch it up. Bicep curl right into a shoulder press, twisting the wrist so that the palms face forward. Trying to get the weights to the thighs, shoulders, and then all the way to the ceiling. So we don't want to cheat this movement. It's full extension on the way down and the way up. This is slow and controlled. You have 5 more seconds here, and then we're going to take those lawnmower rows. 3, 2, 1. Switch it up. Lawnmower rows. One at a time. Send that elbow as high as you can behind you, keeping the weights really close to the rib cage when you take the row. So you've got a bend in your knees. You've got a flat back. Nice long neck. You're setting the gaze on a spot on the floor in front of you. One more move to go. 5 seconds. Serve the platter complexes. Come in. 3, 2, 1. Switch it up. Serve the left, serve the right, and then both together. We're putting this upper body circuit away right after this move. Hitting all the muscles of the upper body here. In addition to our core, you have less than 15 seconds. Fight for this. Control your breathing. Extend the weights all the way out. No cheating for 5, 3, 2, 1, and drop those weights. Grab in some water. Shake out what you need to. Take some time for you. Your next circuit is compound movements. We're going to put upper body and lower body together. So for this circuit, we're starting with skier swings into a lunge. You've got 2 of your weights in your hands. I'm going to show the right leg behind first for round 1. So we take a lunge as we swing those weights up to shoulder height. Now notice my knees stay bent when they come together. Your next move, plie squat to an upright row. Wide feet, plie squat, upright row. Plie squat, upright row. Back is flat in the plie squat, elbows come up high in the row. Your next movement is a split lunge to a leaning, narrow row, wide row. Split lunge, now lean forward, narrow row, and then wide row. Split lunge, lean forward, narrow row, into a wide row. Split lunge, lean, narrow, and then palms face behind for a wide row. We want to load up that front leg. And your final move, plie squat with a hammer curl. So plie squat with a hammer curl at the bottom. You're going to stay low in the squat as you take the hammer curl. Those are our 4 movements. We're going to get that timer set up. Final hydration before we start our first compound circuit. Same time structure. Let's get ready. We've got skier swings and a lunge on deck. Grabbing those 2 weights. We go in 5 seconds. Right leg will be behind and begin. So right leg lunges back. We swing those weights up to shoulder height. You're keeping your body weight in that front leg as you lunge. And notice as we bring the legs together, we're keeping a micro bend in both knees, never fully standing up. Coming up, you've got a plie squat with an upright row. Stay with me, 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and switch it up. Wide feet, plie squat with a flat back into an upright row. So sink the hips low, tuck the hips under your torso as you take that plie squat. And then keep the weights close to the body in the upright row. Think about leading with the elbows in the upright row, all the way up to your collarbone. You've got 5 seconds, and then we take a split lunge to a leaning, narrow row, wide row, and switch it up. Right leg behind you, split lunge. Now lean forward, narrow row, wide row, and back into split lunge. Now lean into the lunge, narrow, and wide. So on that narrow row, keeping the palms facing the body, and on the wide row, they face behind. On deck, we switch to the plie squat hammer curl. 3, 2, 1. Wide feet, plie squat, hammer curl at the bottom. So toes are pointing out towards the corners here. Knees are tracking wide over toes. And at the base of that squat, you are staying down for the hammer curl. You're going to feel your upper back and your core fighting here. You really want to keep the upper body lifted. You've got 5 more seconds. Push through. 3, 2, 1, rest. 30 seconds of rest. All for you. Round 2 is coming. This time on those skier swings, the left leg is going to go behind. And in the split lunge leaning flies, the left leg will also be behind you. Taking a torso twist here, set yourself up. Let's grab those weights. We're going to put the left foot behind this time for the skier swings. 3, 2, 1, let's go. All right, so swinging those weights with straight arms just up to shoulder height. Get a lot of distance in this lunge, so it's really long. Send that leg far behind you. Trying to get that front thigh parallel to the floor. Breathe. We're going to feel a little bit of cardio output here. Plie squat to upright row is coming up in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Switch it up. Wide feet. Plie squat, upright row. So as those weights come forward in the plie squat, try to keep the upper body lifted. So we have a tendency to roll the shoulders forward when those weights come in front of the body, but I want you to fight against that. So keep the chest up, shoulders back, and then smooth it up right into the upright row. Split lunge to leaning rows. 3, 2, 1. Left leg behind. Split lunge. And now lean forward, narrow row, wide row, and return to that split lunge. Now checking out that back foot. The heel is lifted the whole time in the split lunge and even in the leaning rows. We're really keeping a flat back when we lunge and when we lean. 1 more move to go, and 3, 2, 1. Plie squat to hammer curl, wide feet, plie, hammer curl at the base, and stand. All right, so we're feeling our biceps lighting up here, but this is really a full body move. We are working our glutes, our quads, our hamstrings, our core, even our upper back here. And you have less than 10 seconds until you are done with this compound circuit. Finish this right to the end. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Drop those weights. Nice job. Grabbing some water. Shake out what you need to. We've got our next compound circuit. 4 more movements, same time structure. So we're going to put upper body and lower body together. Your first movement is a squat thruster. So your weights are going to start at the shoulders. Feet are just outside your hips. Squat, thrust, squat, thrust. So the momentum from the lower body presses quickly into the upper body, really driving everything out of your legs and into that shoulder press. Weights are going to hit the shoulders. Our next move is a good morning into a squat. Feet are squat distance. You hinge from the hips and then go into a squat. So good morning, stretch out the hamstrings, take it into a squat. Hinge and squat. From the front, feet are squat distance, hinge with the flat back, and squat low. Hinge and squat low. You want to feel your hamstrings stretch in the good morning. Your next move is a high pull, which sort of looks like an upright row, but we lift the heels. Then we go into a front raise. High pull, front raise. High pull, heels lift, front raise. High pull, front raise. You have the option to raise 1 arm or 2. And then finally, with 1 dumbbell, holding it at the chest, we're going into a low pulsing lunge, pulse, pulse, low pulsing squat. So pulse, pulse lunge, pulse, pulse squat, pulse, pulse lunge, pulse, pulse squat. If you really want to challenge, you have the option to keep both dumbbells at your shoulders for that move. Grabbing your final sip of water before we move into this compound circuit. We got 5 seconds. Grab those weights. Squat thrusters. 3, 2, 1. Squat, thrust. Squat, thrust. So we really want to think about transfer of energy here, transfer of momentum. You really drive up explosively through the heels, and that energy, that momentum presses into the shoulder press. So moving everything from lower into upper, and then reset. 5 more seconds here, then we switch it up. Good morning to squat in 3, 2, 1. Weights at the shoulders. From the side, we've got a good morning into a squat. So just a very slight bend in the knees in that good morning. You really want to feel a stretch through your hamstrings there. Keep a flat back, brace the abs hard. Don't cheat the squat with this one. You get your butt low. Coming up, we've got that upper body move. 5 more seconds here. High pull into a front raise and switch it up. High pull, heels lift, front raise. High pull, heels lift, front raise. So we're getting a little bit of calf action here when we take that high pull. Now remember your option. If you want to level this up, that front raise can be taken with both arms if you'd like. We've got 1 more move to go with 1 dumbbell or 2 if you want to challenge. 3, 2, 1. 1 or 2 dumbbells, pulsing squat, pulsing lunge. So it's 2 pulses in each position, and make sure you're alternating the leg that's lunging. Pulse, 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 pulse. We're never fully standing up here. That is the challenge. Can you keep the bend in your knees and stay as low as possible? You've got 5 more seconds and then recovery. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Hydrate, shake it out. 30 seconds all to you. Now this is our last circuit in standing. After this we move to the mat. So make this one count. Hit all of these moves. You know the form, you know the movements. You just perfected them in round 1. Let's make them really count in round 2. We've got squat thrusters coming up. Grabbing those weights, they start at your shoulders, feet at squat distance. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Squat thrust. So lower body into upper body. We're going to feel that heart rate spike in this movement. The faster you take this, the more cardio output you're going to get. All right, you're halfway, 15 seconds. Coming up, those weights will hit the shoulders for a good morning into a squat. Remember, I'm going to show it from the side. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Switch it up. Feet squat distance, hinge into a squat. All right, just a very slight bend in the knees. We don't want to lock out the knees in the good morning, but remember that you want to feel a stretch through the hamstrings. So think about pushing the butt back against an imaginary wall in the good morning and then sink into your squat. We got a high pull to front raise in 3, 2, 1. High pull, heels lift, front raise, 1 or 2 arms. Can you level up in round 2 by lifting both arms in front of you? Now on that front raise, you should have a micro bend in the elbow. So you're not locking out your elbows here. We're not locking out our joints. Little pop of the heels, getting into a calf raise as you take that high pull. Coming up, 1 or 2 dumbbells, pulsing squat to lunge. Can you challenge yourself? 3, 2, 1. Pulsing in the squat, pulsing in the lunge. 30 seconds on the clock to finish out this second compound circuit. Pulse low. In that lunge, get the knee close to the floor. You are aiming for 90-90 in both knees, in the lunge and the squat. Come on, you have less than 10 seconds here. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And rest. Dropping those weights. Nice job. Hydrate. We have 4 circuits down, 4 circuits to go, and we're taking it to the mat. Our next circuit is going to be a combination of a push-up movement and a plank movement. So let's come down to the mat when you're ready. You don't need any equipment for this circuit, and we are changing the time structure. This is going to be tabata. Just your mat is needed. Tabata is 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest. 2 movements. Your first movement is going to be a scorpion push-up. So this is what the highest level will look like, and I'll also show a modification. Hands are just outside shoulder width. You take a push-up, and then you scorpion the leg over. Push up, scorpion tail, bring the leg over. Push up, bring the leg over and tap. Option to take it from your knees. Push up from the knees, stay on the knee, bring the leg over and tap. Knee push up, bring the leg over and tap the toe. I'm going to move my equipment out of the way so I don't hit it every single time I take that scorpion movement. And your second move is going to be a bulldog plank with an arm and leg lift. So highest level, you want to have about 3 inches between your knee and the floor. We're going to lift alternating arm and leg. So right leg, left arm, right leg. Option to level it down, keep your knees on the mat and reach alternating arm and leg. So this is your choice. You can hover your knees or have them on the mat and tabletop. Getting ready for scorpion push-up. We're going in 5, 3, 2, 1, and begin. So push up into that scorpion tail, bring it over. Now remember, you can take this from knees or toes. So maybe you're trying to get at least one of those push-ups on your toes if possible. You've got 3, 2, 1, and rest. 10 seconds all for you. We've got that bulldog plank arm and leg lift. 3, 2, 1, begin. So reaching, alternating arm and leg, doing your best to get the arm and the leg out straight behind you. So this move is going to make the shoulders burn and the core. You've got 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, rest. That was round 1. We're going to move into round 2. Scorpion push-up from knees or toes. We go in 3, 2, 1, begin. So when you bring the scorpion tail over, that's where you're going to feel your obliques engaging and even the low back a little bit. I want you to think about your butt here. We want to keep it low no matter if you're on your knees or your toes. 3, 2, 1, rest. Move number 2, bulldog plank. Knees down or lifted. 3, 2, 1, begin. Taking that alternating arm and leg out. So we really have to find a lot of balance here. This one is tough. Seeing how long you can keep that arm and leg out before you bring it in. 3, 2, 1, rest. So you're halfway. 2 more minutes to go. We're into round 3, scorpion push-up. 3, 2, 1, begin. So thinking about your push-up here, your eyes are forward. We have a tendency in push-ups to look down at our feet, but that closes off our airway and it's really not good for your neck. So find that spot on the floor to set your gaze on as you take your push-up. 3, 2, 1, rest. All right, we're moving into the bulldog plank, arm and leg lift. 3, 2, 1, begin. So remember the option, knees can hover 3 inches above the mat, or you can put the knees down and turn this into bird dog. Really reaching with the leg, reaching with the arm. You can see how hard this one is for me. 3, 2, 1, and rest. All right, we just have one more round of those 2 movements. Let's put this circuit away. 3, 2, 1, scorpion push-up, 20 seconds on the clock. So you're almost moving into a little bit of a side plank here in that scorpion, but we're keeping both hands down on the mat. Driving the mat away from you, drive through the palms as you push up. 3, 2, 1, rest. One more time, one more 20-second interval, bulldog plank. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Reach the arm and the leg forward. Bracing hard through the abs, draw the navel to the spine. We really want to keep our hips from rocking here, finding as much stability through the core as we can. It's just 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, rest. Nice job. Take a child's pose here, just breathe. Doing what feels good. We're moving into our glutes next. So we have a glute bridge series. Let's grab some water here before we lay flat to the mat on our backs to set up for glute bridges. We're moving back to that 30-second time structure with 4 moves back to back and 2 rounds. So for glute bridges, you have the option to put 2 dumbbells on your hips. You can put 1 dumbbell on your hips, or you can do no weight whatsoever. It's your choice. So think about what you want. I'm going to demo the moves with 2 dumbbells, but you can do this with none. So when I set up, I lay my back flat to the mat and I bring my heels close to my butt. Your first move, we're going to press up, knees out, knees in and down. Lift, knees wide, knees in and down. Pressing the hips as much as you can and adding in the knees. Your second move is a walkout bridge from your heels. So the heels are our balancing point. Walk out, walk in, walk in. Left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right. So make sure you are alternating the leg that leads as you walk your heels out and in. Your third move is a left hip, right hip exaggerated bridge. I'm going to press the left, come down center, press the right, come down center. I know it's tough to see here, but I'm exaggerating one hip over the other. I'm squeezing one glute and pushing one hip a little bit higher than the other. And finally, you have a tiptoe to flat foot bridge. So we're going to lift into a high bridge, hold the hips up, tiptoes, flat feet, tiptoes, flat feet. And you really want to fight to keep the hips lifted in this movement. Those are our 4. Grabbing your last sip of water before we get into our glute series. We're going to set up that timer, getting your weights on the hips if you want. Make sure your toes are close to your butt, or heels are close to your butt. And let's begin. So it's that 4 count move. Up, knees wide, knees in and down. Up, knees wide, knees in and down. So when you bring those hips up, I want you to feel the contraction in your glutes. You're squeezing your butt as high as you can. When the knees go wide, we feel the outside of our glutes engaging. And when the knees come in, you feel those inner thighs. You got 5 seconds, and then we take it to a walkout bridge from the heels. 3, 2, 1. Set up on your heels. Hips are high. Walk right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left. All right. So you can walk out those heels as far as is comfortable for you. The further out you walk the heels, the harder this is going to be, and you're really going to feel your hamstrings lighting up. So take this at whatever distance works for you. On deck, we have a left hip, right hip exaggerated bridge. 3, 2, 1. Return to flat feet. Heels come close to the butt. Left, right. Left hip, center, right hip, center. The challenge for you here, when you bring your butt down at center, can you have your hips just hover above the mat without letting them touch the ground? Exaggerate one hip at a time. I know it's tough to see in the video. And you've got 5 more seconds till our last move. Tiptoe, flat foot. 3, 2, 1. Switch it up. So tiptoes, flat feet. Our hips are as high as possible. So this is a high bridge hold. Tiptoes, flat feet. So rocking onto the balls of the feet and then dropping the heels down. Balancing on your shoulder blades here. And remember, you can always get rid of those weights if it's feeling like too much at this point. But can you fight for 5 more seconds? 3, 2, 1, and rest. 30 seconds all to you. 1 more round to go on these glute bridges. Thinking about your weight. Are you going to do 2 weights, 1 weight? Is this going to be body weight for you? Listen to your body here. I'm going to get set up. So I'm going to put the dumbbells on my hips. Remember, when you set up, you want to bring your heels close enough to your butt that you can touch the backs of your heels with your fingertips. We go in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Knees up, out, and down. So up, out, in, and down. So doing your best to just stare at the ceiling here. You want to keep a neutral neck. You don't want to rock your head side to side. And finding a lot of smooth fluidity through these movements. So easy transitions. You bring the hips up, knees wide, knees in and down. Switching in 3, 2, 1. That walkout bridge from the heels. So hips are high, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left. Staying on the heels as you walk out, you're really going to feel those hamstrings lighting up. Trying to keep the hips as high as possible. I know this one's tough, but you can do this for 8 more seconds. Coming up, left hip, right hip, exaggerated bridge. 3, 2, 1. Finding flat feet. Left hip, center, right hip, center. Pressing one hip a little bit higher than the other. So you're almost scooping your abs side to side as you press one hip a little bit more than the other. And remember that challenge. Can you keep your butt off the mat when you come down to center and just have it hover before you press up? On deck, we're going to move to that tiptoe flat foot bridge. 3, 2, 1. Let's finish this. So hips are high, tiptoes, flat feet, tiptoes, flat feet. This is your final 30 seconds in this circuit. You're almost done with glutes. Fighting to keep the hips high, breathe. You're halfway, 15 seconds to go. Getting up high on the toes. Feeling a squeeze through the glutes, contracting all the muscles in the lower body. For 3, 2, 1. And rest. Nice job. Putting those weights to the side, grabbing some water. You have 2 circuits to go. We have an ab circuit and then a plank lower back circuit. So it's about 15 minutes left in class. That does include your cool down. So our ab circuit with 1 dumbbell. We're going to 4 moves, 30 seconds apiece, 2 rounds. Your first movement is a C crunch with that dumbbell. So I'll show you what this move looks like. You lay back. You start with your knees over your hips, your forearms on your thighs. You're going to keep the dumbbell close to your forehead, keep 90 degrees at the knees and the elbows. Crunch the forearms to the thighs, and then tap the heels to the ground. Option if you don't want the dumbbell, hands behind the head. You're going to do the same move with your lower body, but add a crunch with the upper body. Your second move is a bicycle crunch. We've all done this one before, bringing the elbows across the body, trying to get it to touch the opposite knee, full extension on that leg. Third move, hands under your butt, hip pop, and then a leg drop. You can drop one leg, hip hop, drop one leg, or hip hop, drop 2 legs, hip hop, drop 2 legs. And a challenge, when you drop the legs and do the hip hop, can you have your head, neck, and shoulders lifted? Fourth movement with that weight, we sit up for a Viking row. Lifting the heels, laying back, deep row to the side. So row the boat with that weight. And you have an option. You can always drop the heels to the ground, continue to lean back, and take that same rowing motion with the weight. So those are our 4, 30 seconds apiece, back to back. We're going to start with that C crunch. Laying back, finding 90 at the elbows and the knees. And C crunch, begin. Keep the weight close to your forehead. Squeeze the forearms towards your thighs. You want to feel the shoulder blades lifting off the mat. Now when your head comes down, that's when your heels touch the ground. Feeling the low back pressing into the mat, you are more than halfway. So you're scooping through the abs, squeezing the ribs to the hips. You have 5 more seconds and then we drop that weight. 3, 2, 1. Take it to a bicycle crunch. So hands go wide behind the head. Bringing those elbows across the body. Pointing the toes, getting full extension on that leg. Side to side. You're more than halfway here. Breathing, 8 more seconds. On deck, hands come underneath the butt, hip pop to leg drop. 3, 2, 1. Switch it up. Hands underneath your hips, under your butt. Pop the hips up. 1 or 2 legs drop. Pop the hips. 1 or 2 legs drop. So the legs, trying to keep them as straight as possible in the pop and the drop. You can have your head, neck, and shoulders lifted off the mat, or you can drop them to the mat if you're feeling some strain in your neck. Get the hips lifted as high as possible in that pop. Viking rows in 3, 2, 1. Switch it up. Sit up, grab the weight, lean back, heels lifted or on the mat, and scoop that weight side to side as you row. Really deep scoop, deep row of that weight. You have 8 seconds. Recovery is coming. 3, 2, 1. Rest. 30 seconds of rest, all for you, before our second round. Doing whatever feels good here. If you need to grab some water, if you want to take a full body stretch, do what you need to do. Remember that C crunch is where we start. We have that weight in our hands less than 10 seconds before we begin. Let's set ourselves up. Weight is by the forehead, squeeze the forearms, and begin. So 30 seconds on the clock here. Squeeze the forearms towards the thighs, keep the weight close to the forehead. Shoulder blades come off the mat as the heels lift up. Squeeze ribs to hips. You're more than halfway through this move. All right, bicycle crunch is coming. Remember, you're going to drop the weight to the side in 5, 3, 2, 1. Drop the weight to the side. Hands behind the head, light touch behind the ears. Keep the elbows wide. Bike side to side. So we're working the obliques here. The faster you take this move, the more cardio you're going to feel. But often when we take bikes fast, we don't get full extension on the leg. So really make that your goal. You have 5 more seconds, and then hands come under the butt for hip pops, leg drops. 3, 2, 1. Hands under the hips. Poke a hole in the ceiling, and then drop the legs. Pop the hips and drop. Remember, it can be a single leg drop or a double leg drop. So do what feels good for your body today. Head, neck, and shoulders can be lifted or down on the mat. Use the backs of your arms to help you pop the hips. You have 8 seconds, and then our final ab move, Viking rows. In 3, 2, 1. Sit it up, grab that weight. Heels down or lifted, lean back. Deep scoop of that weight, side to side. Always returning to center before you take that next scoop. All right, you're more than halfway through this movement. Trying to keep a flat back, bracing hard through the core. You're almost there for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Putting that weight down. It is one more circuit and our cool down. Let's grab some water here. Your final circuit, we're going to combine a plank move and a lower back move. It will be tabata style, 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest, 4 minutes total. You need 1 dumbbell for the plank movement. We're gonna take a dumbbell pull through. I'll show a modified version for this move. So your first level, you can be in high plank from the toes. This is the highest level. The dumbbell's gonna be to the side. You're gonna pull it underneath your body. This is your dumbbell pull through side to side. Option, take the plank from your knees and pull the dumbbell underneath your body in a modified plank. Your second move, no weight needed. This is going to be a skydiver. So you want to have your arms cactus to the side. We're going to put a bend in our knees, squeeze our heels together. I lift my upper body off the ground, and my lower body. So I'm going to use my pelvis as a balance point. Upper body lifts as the thighs lift off the mat, and you want to squeeze the heels together. This is tabata style. 4 rounds total, 4 times with each move. Let's set up for dumbbell pull-throughs. We go in 5, 3, 2, 1. Begin pulling the dumbbell through underneath the body. So make sure you're planting the hand nice and firm, finding that nice high plank position before you pull the dumbbell. Fingers are spread wide. Minimize the rocking in your hips by putting distance between your feet. 3, 2, 1, and rest. All right, let's move to skydivers. 3, 2, 1, let's go. So lifting the upper body and the thighs off the mat. Pressing through the heels, squeeze them together. It's going to help you get the thighs a little bit higher off the mat here. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and rest. That was round 1. Let's move to round 2. Dumbbell pull through plank. In 3, 2, 1, begin. 20 seconds on the clock. More distance between your feet or your knees if you're down on your knees. It will help you keep your hips square to the mat. So we really want to minimize rocking of the hips and the lower body. 3, 2, 1, rest. Taking it to skydivers. Cactus the arms to the side, coming down to the belly. 3, 2, 1, begin. So I know it can be tough here to see that my thighs are lifting off the mat, but you really want to get the thighs lifted. By lifting the upper body and the thighs, we feel contraction through the glutes and the low back. You got 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and rest. You're halfway, 2 minutes to go. Dumbbell pull through on deck. 3, 2, 1, begin. 20 seconds on the clock. So you're planting that hand just below your shoulder and then pulling the dumbbell through. If at any point this feels like it's gotten to be too much, hold a plank instead and take out the dumbbell. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Skydivers, get ready. 3, 2, 1, begin. 20 seconds. All right, so find a spot on the floor to set your gaze on. You lift the chest and the lower body. Remember, the feet are glued together. Squeeze through the heels. That will make you contract your glutes. 3, 2, 1, and rest. One more time each movement. This is it. Dumbbell pull through plank. In 3, 2, 1, begin. All right, final time with planks in this class. 10 seconds to go. Let's make this count. Keep the butt low, brace tight through the abs for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, let's finish those skydivers. A little bit of low back action. In 3, 2, 1, begin. 20 seconds on the clock. This is your last push-up class. Your cool down is coming. How high can you get the thighs lifted? How high can you get your upper body off the mat? It's a tiny movement, but you really want to feel all the muscles in your back squeeze. 3, 2, 1, and rest. We are going right into our cool down. Let's take it to a child's pose. Knees go wide, butt back to your heels. Arms come forward. Just sink into the mat here and breathe. Taking the arms to the left side of the mat in child's pose, feeling a stretch through the side of your body. And now walk your hands to the right side of the mat, feeling a stretch in the left side of the body, all the way through your rib cage. Let's take it on all fours. We're going to go through cat-cow, drop the belly and look up. Curl the spine and look down. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. Finding a flat back, bring the left foot forward, keep the right leg back, runner's lunge, right arm comes up. You're sinking into this runner's lunge, pressing into that front knee with your left hand. Getting a stretch through your hip flexor. And now sit at back, counter stretch, straightening that front leg, chest to knee. Let's switch sides, bring the right foot forward. Runner's lunge, left arm to the ceiling. Sink low. And then counter stretch, chest to knee, straightening that front leg. Just breathing here. Let's take it down, butt to the mat, legs in front of you, seated forward fold, reaching up, and then fold forward. So maybe you're grabbing the shins, the ankles, the feet, whatever feels good, getting a stretch through the hamstrings and through the low back. Let's bring the left knee across the chest, hug the knee in, getting a glute stretch. And switch sides. Squeeze the other knee across your chest, sitting up nice and tall in this movement. And let's take a cross-legged seated position, bringing one arm across the chest for a shoulder stretch. Pull the shoulder away from your ear. Tricep stretch, reaching down your back. Pull the elbow behind your head. And switch sides, shoulder stretch the other way. Tricep stretch. Keep your neck loose here, chin to chest. Taking one arm up and over, side body stretch. Go the other way, other arm up and over. Spinal twist, left hand outside right knee. Come through center, switch sides. And we'll finish with 2 deep breaths together. Open the palms, deep inhale through the nose. Exhale, hands to heart center. Again, deep inhale through the nose. Exhale, hands to heart center. Give yourself a round of applause. Thank you so much for working out with me today. Bye, everybody.